Good morning, traders. Welcome to our trading room. We are in our trading room. And if you want to know what the trading room is, every time I said good morning, welcome to the trading room, the YouTubers send me a few messages. Hey, why you keep saying you're in the trading room? So we have a group of traders who trade with me every single day, all day. We have at least 5 live sessions a day. I'm in 3 or 4 of those sessions. Like there was a session before I came in this morning. I am here. When I leave, they'll probably do a session. Then we'll do the London session. Then we will do the New York session. And between London and New York, there are traders in the room trading. And after that, there are traders trading. So our traders have access to the trading room all day. It's open all day, which means any trader who has a full-time access to the group can go there. If you want to know how to join the group, send me a Skype message. It's MANGAL 457. No, sorry, 457. Send me a Skype message, and this is the only place you're going to get any contact with me about the group. Don't send me a message on Facebook. I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a Telegram. I don't have any other thing where you can contact me. My YouTube videos are the only thing you're going to see where I post. I normally duplicate the same video on Facebook and sometimes on Twitter. Nothing else. You will never get a message from me asking you to invest in anything, asking you to buy anything, asking you to give me money for anything, asking you to even buy my course. That's not going to happen. It never happened in the last 7, 8 years or so that I'm here, maybe more, and it will never happen in the future. For the simple reason, I'm not selling you anything. So I'm not asking you to buy anything from me. Now, if you do want to join my group, that means you're a serious trader who would like to learn to trade and want to make trading a full-time career where you can make enough money to live. And you may say, well, that seems an impossible task. I am not privileged to show you the results of some of our traders, but they're amazing. People who have been in the group for 5, 6 years and who are still here making tons of money. I mean, in the hundreds of thousands, right? So it's not everyone who can do that, but you can do it. Everyone can do it. Not everyone is doing it, but everyone can do it because it's not that difficult. Using the methods and the analysis and the teachings we're giving you, how to trade, how to manage your money, how to manage risk, how to understand what to do, you can tweak that to fit your nature. And if you're good at it, you can make money. So that's it. Let's move on. If you want to join the group, send me a message. That's all the access you're going to get. If you want to learn wave analysis, this is the best place you can learn it. Well, simply because I created the method. There's no better place to learn it from the person who created it. Otherwise to that, well, have a good week ahead of you. Trade well, and I hope this week's webinar helped you. Dollar index. So if you've been following me, like I told you, we don't know where it's going to go because we don't have any sense of direction. There is no pattern. There's only an impulse, and we're in a correction. But that doesn't mean you can't trade it on a daily basis. As you can see that arrow there, and if you know me and you know anything about me, I don't put an arrow after the fact. Right? If you've been watching me for any period of time, there's nothing in this chart that happens after the fact. Simply because what we do is called forecasting. We make forecasts and then we trade the forecast. We try to take advantage of it if we can. So on Friday, we were buying dollar, we were selling euro, we were selling Aussie, we were actually buying New Zealand, but that is because we use it as a counter trade. We were buying CAD and a number of other things. Yen, we were buying all of those. So with that said, let's go. Here's what we're going to look at. We still don't have any pattern because what we have is a series of impulses or moves, I would say. We don't know whether they're all impulses yet. Is that this is a sharp one down. I will start from this point because that completed one big pattern and we're starting a new one. This is a sharp move down. This is a sharp move up, a sharp move down, a sharp move up. We haven't broken any tops or bottoms if you're looking at that. And until we do that, I'm not speaking about the smaller patterns inside. There's millions of them in there, as you can see, depending what time frame you're looking at. But on the daily, there is no pattern here. We will get a pattern if we break this top or if we break this low. Right? Then we'll have a pattern. So the question is, which one are we going to break first? That would always be your question if you're doing analysis. So on the 4-hour, we'll go and we'll decide, well, what are we doing here? Well, you can see there's a lot of patterns in here. So we had 1, 2, 3, and I think I told you there's a good chance we might make one of this and probably go break the top to start the first series of patterns. If that doesn't happen, then the good chance is it will come back to the bottom here, break this one, and then create this pattern. So we're still open as to which one is going to do. Now, this has dropped quite a lot, and I wouldn't put it as an equal to this, which means I think there's a likely chance we're going to come down, which means this might come down from here rather than go back up. Now, you will say that's a very sharp move up. Why would you think it's going down? Well, we have had a sharp move like that previously here, right? When we thought this would make 1, 2, 3, come here and go back up. That didn't happen. But it doesn't mean we don't trade, right? But we trade in the 15 minutes and the 1 hour. So we would take trades all day. Up and down, it doesn't matter. But for the purpose of analysis, we would decide where we think the forecast is going to go. So there's a high probability this could be a running flat and come back to the bottom here. Now, that's just a high probability. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that. Is there a chance for this to go break the top still? Yeah, it could. This could be just a deeper correction. We break the top, and then we come back down. All this is going to be is this will be like more of a bigger correction like this. So you'll get 1, 2, we'll break the top, we'll come back to the bottom. I don't think this will be all the correction in that case. I don't expect this to be all the correction, because if this is all the correction, then this one is not impulsive. So this is where the complexity of wave analysis comes in when you're doing the analysis, is you have to look backwards and see what exists or what is there to decide what the future would look like, what this pattern would look like. And I'm sure if you're not a technical analysis person, or you don't believe in technical, you believe that the market is truly random and nobody can predict where they're going to go, then you should watch a lot more of my video, but then you should also listen to what we're saying. What we're saying is that the market is not as unpredictable as you think, because the market works. Think of the people who are in the market. They're not very unpredictable. They have a job. They're working at a bank. They will do the same thing almost daily. So the same thing you do daily create patterns. And these are what we look at. We look at the patterns, and when we decide based on a specific pattern, the market will behave a specific way. Now, not 100% of the time is going to do that. Maybe 90%, 80%, that's good enough. That's you have an edge in the market. 20% of the time, it will go a little different, because human beings tend to do things different once in a while, right? If you wake up 8 every morning, then one day you'll probably wake up 9, or one day you'll wake up 7. I was up 5 a.m. this morning. That's not normal for me. Normal for me is about 6, 6:30. Someday I wake up 3 in the morning and I can't go back to sleep. Those are abnormal things that will happen, but they're not within the norm of how you do things, right? And nothing moves in a straight line. That's the whole point. So what you're going to look at is what patterns we see. And is this pattern going to behave the way the previous patterns just like this behave? And if it does, well, then you take advantage. If it doesn't, then you're not in the trade. That's it. So coming back to this on the 1 hour, this sharp move up was expected, because I was thinking more like this. If you take this one, it's an equivalent of this. See that? It's taken from this one here. And we were assuming that, well, if they do that, if they go back up, I had it from here, but it dropped first and then it go. It doesn't matter. We were still buying. So now you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, what happens next? I'll take this off, and it's pretty easy. For us, in terms of trading, I don't really care what happens next. I don't really care if it goes up or down, but I need to see certain things that tell me it's going to go up or that it's going to go down. For the downside, it's an easier trade, because all it has to do is drop a little, make a small 15-minute flag here, and we're selling. Now, this is almost 99% going to happen. But that doesn't mean it's coming back to retest the low. That means it could start a deeper correction before it goes there. In the case of a deeper correction, that's not a good trade for us. That's more of a break-even trade, right? We'll call that a break-even trade, because it's just a correction for upside. Once you see that correction, we're going to be buying it. We will look for it. Will take a while, maybe a day, 2, 3 days. Sometimes they correct, and then you get the buy setup. Can we keep selling shorter trades to the downside? Maybe, depending on how far it goes. If it's going to drop to the bottom, that would be good trade. It'll move much faster, right? So we will still stay in that trade. We might even add to it and, make more trades going down. Buying at the top here right now, very bad idea, because absolutely it will correct. Maybe not exactly from this point, maybe a little higher, but you don't know that. And since you don't know that, you should not take the risk of buying there. It's not worth it. The risk is that if it tags you and it drops suddenly, even if you have a stop 20 pips, you might be taking out 50, 60 pips. Now, there is no reason why it should drop suddenly right now, but by this afternoon, let me see what today looks like. Give me 1 second. Let me take a quick look. Now, today is pretty quiet, so there's no reason. It could suddenly drop, but there's no specific reason, news or event that might cause that to drop, because they normally use the news events to move the market fast. Not the news that moves the market, but the time and space is what they use to move the market. It's a good reason to move the market in that time so that everyone believes, oh, it's because of the news. Well, good luck with that. If you believe in that, go ahead. Try it and see what happens. Most times it's not working the way you expect it to go. So we're going to wait for a correction if we want to buy, but we will definitely be looking for a sell setup, which means in the shorter term, I expect this to pull back or drop. We'll see which one happens. Silver. So that was a sell I should have taken. That was the sell where we sold it because we were expecting it to come and break this low. And once it breaks that low, chances are it's going to go back to the top here. Now you can make an argument for 1, 2, 3, but I don't think it's 1, 2, 3 because this one is more correction than this. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually, makes a flag, drop a little more, makes a flag drop, and then start going back up. Or actually comes back to the top, but then keep doing more of this. Right? That is possible. What that means is that if we get a buy setup here, we will take it. Either as a correction or as a total reversal. So when you look at a pattern like this, most times that tends to go back and break the top. Breaking the top doesn't mean it's total upside. Once you break the top, it could drop again, but it will go break the top. So we're going up, and that's a flag for upside, which how high we'll see. Remember, this is limited as to how high it's going to go, especially since we're getting divergence. We have divergence in the bigger impulse than this. And I think you should see internal divergence here in the 4 hours. Let's see. No, we actually have divergence here in the 4 hours here. And once we break the top, we don't have on this one. So once we break the top, we will get divergence. On the 1 hour, I think on the way up, you will see a lot of divergence, right? As you go on the way up. We haven't broken that top as yet, but when we do break the top, there will be divergence. So what we need here is a flag. If we get any 15 minutes flag, we're buying. You come here, there is no flag, don't take the trade, it could drop more. There are a few sharp waves that I don't like. You have this one, I don't really like it, in that means that this could retest the low, then go. No problem, especially if it starts channeling, that would be a better trade for us. What you would wait for is if this stays here and make a flag, we're buying. Any 15 minutes flag here, we're buying. This is irrelevant. There's a lot of those small ones like that. Those are lower degrees correction. We tend to ignore them, and then we look for this. Now, should it come lower? Should this work its way lower to the bottom here? And then do this? This would be a sell setup. A flat like this could be a sell setup because it might do this and go back up. But if we get the sell from here, this would be a good trade for us. So it all depends on where we get the sell. Do not jump into this for a sell or a buy immediately. Wait for the setup. Right? So it could be both ways, but I will work more on getting a buy setup. So I'll put, let's look for a buy setup because that's the first thing will come. If that doesn't happen, it will take a while before you get a sell setup, and then we'll just have to wait a longer time. Gold. Nice drop. Actually, I thought gold would go back up from here, right? We sold it from here. I thought from here it will go back up. So if you took the sell, you actually got much more lucky than I think, right? Because it came way down to the bottom here. Now, here's the problem. The reason I thought this would go back up, we're looking for this as being too sharp for the correction. But it seems that is all the correction we got. Or we can relook at this structure different. Can we put this as the flat in the middle? There's a chance we might be looking at this as part of that correction, like a 1, 2, 3. Because this is very flat. I don't like that pattern simply because this didn't break the, there's no rule that it has to break the low here. There's no rule to that. If it was really sharp, I will absolutely put it in there. But because it's not so sharp, I'm keeping it open. Now, can we get an expanding flat in here? It's a possibility. It's rare where you see that kind of expanding flat where one is this much and this one is this. We have one in the weekly in Aussie. And then this goes back up there and then come back down. That is a possibility. It's rare. Gold, on the other hand, was always downside. The reason we were selling it there is because we knew this was going to go down. If you follow me last week, you know that after a correction here, you should be looking for sells. And that happened. So I'll take this out and we'll wait. We were looking at this as making a channel. And if it was a channel, we'll take the channel to go up for a deeper correction and then come down. I wouldn't say it's a channel. It's not really a channel. It's just two small corrections. It's not enough reasons to put it as a channel, and they drop here. And then this was a deep pullback. I think that's the only problem with this, is that this is a deep pullback and it's really sharp. So I wouldn't be surprised if this turned out to be an expanding flat. We go back up there and then drop, but it's still downside. So if you get any flag here, we will sell it. We will not assume that it's going to go back up. This could be all the correction. So any flag here for a sell, we will take it. If you get a flag for buy, we will also take it, but with caution, because I'm not expecting a lot of upside here. Right? It could go back up. They could correct this move. I'll take this off. I'll take the sell out. They could correct this move here, but it's going to be like just this correcting this. If that is the impulse to the downside, and let's say this was all the correction, then this would just probably do something like this and start dropping. So we could buy that up. It's a big move because this is a big move, right? So you could look for buy setups, which means if you get a flag here, you go for the buy. Don't go until you get a flag, because you notice this up move, no flag, it dropped. This up move, no flag, it dropped. This up move, no flag, it dropped. This up move could drop again if you don't get a flag, right? We don't have a flag right now. We could make an argument for an expanding flat here. Yeah, you could do that. For my traders, you could probably go with this as a possible expanding flat. Keep it above the top of the expansion. I know there'll be a test of want to take this one. It's a risk, because if it's not an expansion and it's this, then this one would probably just do this and drop, or it will do this and come back deep here before it does that. So you don't want that to happen. Wait for the break of the top. If it breaks the top, it's going to go a lot. Remember, on the 5 minutes, so on the 15, you can put an entry order here for the buy. And if it has to go like an impulse. If it goes like an impulse, then great. If it goes really slow, take it off. It's still in the correction, right? So we can go with an active buy here in this one. And if it doesn't go the way you want it, take it off. You have enough time to know. This has to go now. Any deeper here into this, it's a flat for downside. Now, that piece might be a little difficult for you if you're not a wave analysis trader, so I'm not sure how to get into the details of it for you, but my traders would get what I'm doing. If we're looking at this as an expanding flat, it has to do that. If it starts to do anything but that, like if it keeps coming down here, that means it will come here, but that would be a flat for downside. We'll be selling it here. We wouldn't be buying it anymore. You can still buy this, depends on your skill level, but we'll be selling it. And if it comes back slowly to the top here, then you want to be out of it, because it will tag that, but then it will drop. So you don't want that trade. You want it to go fast. Right? We're trying to catch an impulse. And if we get an impulse, it's okay. If not, if it comes lower, don't worry. Just take the trade off. Look for the flat, we'll sell. Euro. And that's one of the biggest problem with these analysis that I give, because it's temporary in the way the pattern and thing. We're looking for a buy, and if you don't have any idea why we're looking for the buy and what needs to change for that buy to be off, you can be tagged in that buy and watch it drop, because you didn't take it off when you should have done that. So if you want to learn more about that, just send me a message. You can get in the room on the installment program, which is very, very cheap, and then you get to learn what we do. So I'm looking at this one. We expect it to come here and go back up and then drop. But because it was news, we put the entry order here for the sell, and that was a good trade. If you closed it here on Friday, you did well. You didn't have to stay with it all the way, but if you stayed with it, great. It's going down where we expect euro to go. So if you're following me, remember I said we're still keeping this expanding flat as an open pattern, which means I think euro could go much more. Now, if euro is going to move down, that doesn't mean silver and gold cannot correct upwards, right? They're not the same. As a matter of fact, if you're looking at the Euro Aussie and the Euro New Zealand right now, I hope you're in the sell, because they're going really good, right? Those two, we're looking for sell setups. They're going really good. Pong, the Pong, Euro Pong maybe also moving. I'm not sure about that, but Pong Oz also will be going very well. Sorry, not Euro Oz and Euro New Zealand. Yes, not the Pong Oz. The Euro Pong would probably be going also, because Pong is not going anywhere and Euro is dropping. So there's a chance that euro moves down here without anything else. That's a euro movement. If it comes here, once we break this low, we'll be heading back to the top, because we're looking at this as a possible flat. Right? So you got this one, come here, go back up. And there's a good reason it will come, because there's nothing to match this. We're not looking back and say there's something there. So we were anticipating this running flat way back once this happened. Of course, it kept going more and more, and we keep, watching it to see whether it actually will go to the top and whether we'll get a contracting flat in here. But it never matched the contracting flat. So now we can assume that euro today, you want to trade all your euro pairs, because euro seems to be going down and it will continue to go. So any sell setup you get on the euro, you can go with it. Be careful though. Don't take any 5 or 15 minutes flag. Wait for a 1 hour flag. The 5 and 15 minutes flag are over. So at some point, this will make a correction. Probably make a deeper correction here and then drop. Something like this would be perfect. If we get that, this sell here would be perfect. So maybe today, tomorrow, you get consolidation and then drop again. We'll see if we have euro news during the week sometime. So this is mostly a sell setup. So I'll just look for a sell setup. We will see if we want to buy the correction, if the correction is good enough to buy, but euro correction is the last one I want to buy. We'll probably buy the Aussie or the New Zealand, not the euro. Tom. So I think we're going to go up one more. I don't think this is the top of the whole structure. We could make an argument for that depending on how you look at it, because this one was really sharp. We didn't put it with anything in the back. I don't want to put it with this one, and I don't think this one fits it very well. This one went up with a lot of correction, so I'd assume that we're going to make a new high and bump before it drops. It's not a big move, so euro correction would be enough. You notice this move down and the euro move down, the difference? It's really sharp, right? So we're in this pattern here right now. And there's a very, very good chance this thing will go break this top before it drops. So it'll probably come back down, but we'll go break that top first. Let's see. On the 1 hour, I'm looking at this as a flat. So we expected this to drop. It dropped nice, but then we'll be looking for this to go back up today. So I'll just flip this and assume that this is what is going to happen. It's going to go back, break the top, and then come down. We'll look for a buy setup, which means I want to see this go back up here. I want to see a flag, and then we start buying this. Now, there was a small flag here that broke the low. You probably don't want to sell that, and there's no reason why you should be in that sell, because you know that is the one that breaks, give you the divergence here, and then turn, right? It breaks, give you that internal divergence, and then turn. It could be a running flat as well, by the way. So this is not a flag. This is a smaller flat in here. We do have the sharp one. So if it gives you a sharp move like that, don't jump in the trade. Assume it's going to retest the low again before it goes. Now we'll decide if we take that as a sell. It's a small trade, depending on if you get a flag at the top. Most likely you want to see it reverse. And you want to see it go back up to the top, and the up move should be sharp. It shouldn't be like this one. See that flat, and then they drop and reverse. That is exactly what you want to see here. You want to see a pull back here. You want to see it drop here, and then you want to see it reversed. Wait for a flag here, and then we buy. This one, the drop was fast. They didn't go very far. So, Pong, we're looking for a buy setup. Aussie, absolutely looking for a buy setup. I think this is a really good flat. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't go up. Can it drop one more? Absolutely. It could drop one more, maybe two more, maybe even three more impulses, small impulses to the downside. And there's a good chance that this might be one of those small impulses. This. Right? This may or may not be part of that, these sharp ones. So I'm not, sure that this could also be a small 1 minute, 5 minute channel, and we're trying to go up. Wait for a flag here. If it is going to drop, I don't think this sell is a good idea. Like I said, if you get any drop, sell euro. That's a better sell if you get a flag and a drop. This one you could sell, but it will be a very short impulse. So you have to be very careful, because this is the flat, and we're definitely going to go break that up. I'm not expecting a contracting flat in here, right? So there's a very good chance that this move finishes before we come down. We know Pong has one like that. Aussie has, maybe likely silver, gold will correct upwards. Euro is the only one that even if it corrects upward, will correct really slow and really small, because euro is dropping. So this move here is a possibility. Let's see if we can get the buy setup to take advantage of that. Right? It's like this move after this flat. See? So this is a perfect flat for upside. Just wait for the buy. If this drop one more impulse down and you miss it, no big deal. It's not going to be a big impulse. It could probably just drop, give you divergence, and turn. If you think you can sell it, we'll see. I don't see any sell setup as yet. I'll need a flag somewhere here to sell, a flag within this range, so that when it breaks the low, you can get it to break even. If you don't get a flag like that, don't sell it. Look for buy setups. New Zealand. New Zealand dropped really sharp, and we don't have, in this range here, we don't have anything for it, but we have one at the back here. We've always had this one here. So there's actually this, I think, is the equivalent of that. Yeah, this one is the equivalent of that. So there's a good chance that's a running flat, and we go back again. I'm not expecting a contracting flat in here for this to drop to the bottom. One of the two things would likely happen here. This is the running flat, and this one just goes up to the top and then come back. Or it starts making its own flat here before we go break the top. Remember, we had this huge one here, and we didn't have any of this going up. So there's a chance you end up with a bigger flat here and then go break the top and then come back. Or it actually goes immediately, and then we will fix this we'll set that as a running flat. So come back to the 1 hour. Look for a buy setup, even if you're looking for a correction. of this, right? Whether it's going to be a correction or not. But I think this could go. So if you get any buy setup, you should take it. Actually, you should be ready to be in that buy. Go into 5 minutes. Go with the 5 minutes flag. Let it prove it's a 5-minute flag. Don't try to buy any other thing here, right? Because if it's not a flag, this would come back and break the low again, and they could just widen this channel into something like this. So you don't want to be tagged and get into the channel. What you're going to do is wait for this to pull back. It's pulling back, let it pull back. They'll probably stay here for a while. If it comes back to this level, put the entry order above the top. Right? If it keeps going down to the bottom here, let it come to the bottom. Don't sell it. Because then the channel would look more like this. The channel will look more like this, right? It would be a channel like this, and you could probably make an argument for this as a correction. Right? You could put this here as a correction. You could even add this whole piece here as a correction to it, and then watch it comes back here. Right? Sharp move up, do this. If all this goes a correction, come back, it's going to go back there, come here, and then probably go. So if you want to sell this, if you want to sell this in here, you have to let it come here and make a flag. If you get this flag, then you can assume that coming to break this low is a very small trade. Right? We're not expecting it to drop. We're expecting it to stay in the channel and break out. So this is the channel right now, but they can widen that channel. Let it come back here. Let it pull back a little here. And then put an entry order above the top to see if they do that. If it consolidates here, we'll consider if we want to sell. That would be after London. Then we'll consider if we want to sell. But it's not a running flat for downside. I don't think we're making a correction to drop. The correction to drop could be on the Aussie. On the Aussie and the Euro. Not on this one. So we'll be looking for a buy setup. CAD, sell setup. We're at the top of this big flat. It actually went a little higher than we expected. Right? We expected this move to go back there. That is the equivalent of this one. And it actually went the same way. See, it actually went the same way. You have a lot of corrections in it. It went a little higher, no big deal. That is normal. So we can reset this one to there, so like this. And that means this is over. We can take this out. We're looking for this one down. That's the equivalent of this. So this is going to happen. And then we'll be looking, we can put it like this. And then we'll be looking for the next one up before we start a drop, right? That will complete this one and then start the drop. Look for a sell setup. Don't buy it at the top there. There's no point buying it. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Whether this is part of the correction or not, you can use this as it. This is the flat we're in right now. 1, 2, 3. And that flat is completed. So how this move goes down from here, anybody's guess. Don't try to buy here. Let it drop. Right? Let's see if we can get the sell setup. Go here, wait for a flag, sell. It went up some more. Yeah, these small flags. Look for a sell setup. We might even get the sell setup much faster than we think. You want this to come back here. You want a little flag here. And then we're selling that. Wait for the setup. Remember, this can drop sharp like this, but still go back up. So if you were trying to sell this here, you could get yourself in trouble. Wait for the sell. So CAD, we're waiting for a sell setup. Swiss. Well, this one is a big question because we were looking for a flat and then it broke the bottom. We were looking for an expanding flat that is come here and then drop. Right? So this was a buy. We had the buy setup here, just above here to go break this top. And it did break, not even break the top because we were thinking running flat. Now the question is it an expanding flat for downside? The bigger picture of this one is upside. The bigger picture of Swiss is upside, right? This is going up from here. So selling this could be a little dangerous. I do believe it's going to drop one more, but we have to have a really good setup for that. Sell the CAD rather than the Swiss. If the Swiss is going to go up, if you bought this, you got to be careful because that is divergence for downside. Right? That would give you divergence here and then drop. Either correct deeply or drop. So if you bought this, you have to make sure you can get that to break even. I wouldn't buy anything here. Let it pull back deep and then we buy, or let it drop to the bottom, break the low, and then we start buying. We can look for both. I don't think there's any trade there right now, so we'll just leave this for now. I'm not putting the expanding flat as yet because this could be all the correction. This could be the low and we're going up. It's more likely an expanding flat, but that possibility exists. So we'll wait to see if we get sell setup or buy setup here. If we're going to get a buy setup, it has to be a deeper correction for upside. Yen. Yep, yen was a buy. It didn't, it's gonna still be a buy. They're gonna pull back here. One more, I think you're gonna get one more flat there. One more upside. Where is the yen going? Let's see. Yep, it needs to break this top. Right, so it's gonna give you one more push, probably come back like this, make a running flat here, go back up one more, break this top, and then we're looking for the downside. We're looking for this big move down because this flat would have completed itself. So at least one more move here, look for a buy setup. Wait for the pullback and then buy. So as soon as we get a pullback into this for a running flat, we're going for the buy. Put the entry above the top. You need to move down like this. Get that and then up. Once you get a pullback like that, look for the next big move up to break this top. So I'll put a line here. And once we break that up, we start looking for sell setups. It could go a little higher. Normally it does go a little higher. And then we look for average that is going to do this. See these impulses? They're almost equal. So go with one of that to the top. You're in New Zealand. Okay, so this one we were expecting to drop. It didn't drop. It actually broke out. So leave that with a contracting flat in here. That makes a contracting flat. And this one is sharp, but it's coming down. They have to break this low before they go back up, right? So that's just a deeper correction. We'll change this into this flat. I don't think we have anything to match this for a running flat. Nope, not that I can see. We have this one and we have some smaller ones here. We'll just connect those. This is a correction of its own. Look for sell setups. As a matter of fact, if you're already in the sell, that is well done. If you already sold any of this, you sold that, that's a good sell. This here was a good sell. I don't know if any one of you saw that this morning. If you took this trade, that's a very good trade. Wait for another flag sell because we're going to break this low before we go back up, right? It has to come here, break this low. The low of the last impulse. See, this was a big flat. They drop, break the low. This wasn't such a big one. I think it's going to come slowly, break this low here, then go back up. So any sell setup you get, take it. Look for sell setups. Any flag like that flag would be a sell setup. Eurocat. Okay, we're expecting this to drop. I didn't think it was going to drop from there because it was looking more like a flat here at that point. We didn't trade it. That was news, so we didn't trade this. I thought they'll break the top and then come, but they're dropping already. So the assumption is that that is the top when we're dropping, right? If it's coming to break this low here. So any flag we get, any correction, we're selling. Correction, flag, anything, we're selling. Just wait for that to happen. If you're in the sell already, there was a nice flag here to sell. There was another one here. This wasn't such a big flag, but wait for another one and then we sell. Any other flag, any correction, we're in the trade. Sell setup. Euros. These are all Euro trade. Euro New Zealand sell setup. Euro CAD sell setup. Euro Oz sell setup. I think you should be in this trade already. Right? We assumed that this one would drop and then it went made a new high. Same thing. Sell that, sell this, sell anything. Anything you get from the top there is a sell. There's no question about whether we should sell this. Right? And we know where it's going. That's a classical flat. You don't even need anything. Just watch it when it comes here. Now, here's the thing. It could go all the way to this point. If we're still following this one, right, they could drop pretty deep and then go back up. So any sell setup you get here, take, which means for this to happen, Euro has to go down and Aussie has to go up. And that is happening right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aussie make a really big spike to break the top we're looking at and Euro just keep coming down slowly. This move could happen because of the Aussie. Any flag you get, any sell setup you get, take the trade. It's coming. This is the way you have to watch it, these lows. Any correction here, we sell, right? Because you wanted to break through this structure. Once it breaks through that structure, it will be total downside. Well, as long as you're in this structure, it can come here and go back up. I don't see any reason we don't have any sharp move like this from the top to the bottom. This wasn't sharp. This wasn't sharp. So these are the up moves that were sharp. Right? You have more sharp up moves than down moves. Right? So this one was sharp. This is corrective. This was sharp. This is corrective. This wasn't very sharp. That was the only surprise. This one was really sharp. This one wasn't so sharp, but this one has a big flat in the middle, which is weird. Thought it would be really sharp. Anyway, any flag we go, we're selling. Euro Swiss probably sell setup. So we'll take this. This is not the low. Take that out. Let me look back at the 4 hours. Okay, it's just probably coming deeper. Be careful with selling this. This needs to go back up. Right? So even if it comes a little lower, it's more of a just a correction. What's the size of this one? Let's see. It's this much, put it here. Maybe a little more. This doesn't have a lot more downside. And this turned out to be a contracting flat. Right? So just a little more here, then we start looking for buy setups because this is 1, 2, 3. This is going to go back up. This probably a little more. Don't sell this. Let it finish. Look for the buy setup when you get it. So I'll leave this open. Euro yen. It's going down. It probably will go a little more. You don't want to trade that. Euro yen buy setup. It actually made a deeper correction. Still a buy setup. You could put your entry here, or you could wait for a flag here to the upside. Go into 15. Let it go up. Make a flag. Go for the buy. All we need to do on this one is break this top. This is more of a yen trade. It's coming down, but I don't think we'll get a sell set up here. You don't want to sell this structure in this pattern. Right? You want it to go break the top. You want it to go break that top and then come back like this. Go break that top and then come down. So I don't think we're coming down from here. It could go a little lower, but I would avoid buying this. Selling this, sorry. We can look for the buy setup. As a matter of fact, if it goes now, you can go with an expanding flat here. So if this goes, that's a trade. Put an entry above here. If it breaks the low, take it off. We're not selling it. You could sell that, but I don't like the idea of selling this. All right, let's get the buy set up in it. So you can actually put an entry over here. If it's an expanding flat, it will break the top. Go to this one, get it to break even and see if it breaks. If it's not an expanding flat, it's going to break this low, take it off. You know the rule. Right? So if it drops any lower than that, take it off. So I'll put this as an active buy. And then we'll see what happens there. Euro pound. Okay, this didn't break out. We were expecting it to break out, go break the top, and then drop. It dropped already. So where do we put this? To put this as the correction by itself. This would be a running flat, and this would be the correction. Take this out. The running flat would be this one. And this would be all the correction. It's too sharp for that. Expect another running flat. Take this here. And expect another running flat with this. Okay, this is a big correction inside of this move. So that should be another running flat. Right, another running flat, and then we'll see where this goes. Take this out. We broke the lows, so at any point in time, we're going to get one of this. It's not there as yet. It's coming still. It's the size of this move is the equivalent of this. So one more running flat, drop again. This could make another running flat here. I think this would be a good running flat. It drop again, and then we'll see if it goes back for this one. Because all this correction is inside there. So it will probably go back up. At the moment, it's going down, so there's no trade. If you want to trade any sell setup, go it on the euro and any of the other euro pairs. Pancad. Buy setup. Look for the buy here. You get a flag, take the trade. This is going up. This has always been going up, so there's no question as whether you get a buy or not. Try to get this buy if you can. Put an entry above the top, and if it breaks through, go with it. If it comes deeper, we'll buy it from the bottom, or we'll buy it from a lower point. I think this is over. I think this whole flat is over. Look for buy setups. You can put it as an active buy right now. Pause. Sell setup. It went a little higher than expected. Right, we're looking for this to come back from this point. I think this one here. To come back from here, it went a little higher. I still think it's downside. So you can put it as a separate correction. There's a lot of corrections in it if you want. So this went up as expected. I'll take that off. We don't need it anymore. It's not breaking out. It did make an attempt to break out, but I don't think we're breaking. I think we're trying to come back down. We're going to still be in this. See? We're still in this pattern. So this should probably come back, retest the low, and then go back up. That looks like a leading diagonal, but it's inside of this. So it's more of a correction. It's not a leading diagonal, right? This is the sharp part now. This is all correction. Come back here and go back to the top there. Complete this flat. because you have this move here. So this is like a weekly, monthly flat forming here. Let's see if we can get that trade to the downside. Go back to the 1 hour, look for flags. Let's say this is the breakout, right? Let's say this was all the correction and this broke out and it's trying to go up. This would become a flat rather than a flag. So what we look for here is, this was the buy. Actually, you would have put the buy here because the buy was there when this was going up. So what we look for here is a flag. Any flag we're selling. Any 15 minutes flag here is a sell setup. No questions asked. If it comes like this, we'll take it off. We'll wait for this. We'll wait for this, and we'll buy that. But if it drops, that's a trade because it's going to drop through this low. And after that, it's total downside. So you want to confirm that it's dropping through that low, the reversal of this, which means this flag is going to be really small. It can't be a big flag. If it makes a big one, it's a flat, right? If it ends up doing like this, then you just have to let it come here and we will buy that to the upside. That will be the total breakout, because after this one, if it goes any higher than that, it's out of the structure. So that means it's a slow impulse to the upside, but it's out of the structure. But for now, I think it's a reversal. 15 minutes flag, sell. You don't have to wait long. Just wait for a 15 minutes flag here and sell. Let's go to the 15. Well, we don't have any flag, but it's starting to make one. So you just have to let it stay here. And you don't want a deep flag. You want it not deeper than that, right? You want something like this, and then we're selling. Wait for it. Just a matter of hours. 3-4 hours from now, you get that trade. See this small one here? That buy setup? That's exactly what you want here. And then you're going with that sell for the reversal. Hung Yen. Hung Yen is upside, but I'm not sure this is trying to break out. It's going too slow, and there's a good chance like it's just ignore this one, go with the Euro Yen. If this, it's the same pattern, same running flat here, right? Same running flat here for a buy, but this is going up much slower. We'll see when it comes here. We can decide if we want that trade to the upside. Pound New Zealand. Okay, this didn't break, so that makes this a contracting flat because it went up, right? So that makes that a contracting flat, and this correction is over. This correction here is over. I thought it will drop one more and then go. So that is over. What we're going to do here now? Okay, so it's at the top. That is this sharp move here. There is a flat in here and then one more. Can it go in a single move and come down? Can we expect this to go in a single move instead of a three-wave structure and drop? It doesn't need to break the top, but I think we broke the top. No, we didn't. And there's no need to. We broke the low, right? So I'm thinking running flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here, and this is a perfect flat for downside, right? That's the ideal flat for downside. This is your sharp impulse down. That's 1, 2, 3 downside. Can it go one more up for an expanding flat? I think so. There is also a chance that it can pull back pretty deep, make a correction in here, like this one here. This had a correction in here, actually. And then retest the top before it comes. In any case, we'll be looking for this sell first. And if the one single wave is all, it doesn't have to be a trigger structure, we should go down. Let's see what we have here. You already had a flat. You broke the top. This was the flat. It broke the top. You made a smaller one. You broke the top. You're coming down. We're reversing the last impulse. Look for a sell setup here. So we've got a 15-minute candle, not flag. That's just one candle. But if you get a 15-minute flag here, if this makes a 15-minute flag here, that's exactly what you want. This is a sell we're going to definitely take. So we're looking for a pound New Zealand sell setup. You notice pound Aus, pound New Zealand, Euro Aus, Euro New Zealand are looking downside. I think that would be mostly a New Zealand and Aussie trade, not necessarily pound and the Euro trade so much. Right, so keep your eyes on those. Pound Swiss. But there's a flat there. Take this out. It looks like one more down. It definitely looks like one more down before it goes because this is making a flat. Can we go with this as a contracting flat eventually? Or running flat? I don't like that running flat, so we'll wait. But it could be, especially if this starts dropping. If this starts dropping, we'll go with that as a running flat, and this one comes back, retest the low. That's a sell setup. Look for a sell. I don't think the range is big enough to sell it from the top. This how much pips? 62 pips you can sell from the top. We don't have a sell setup here. This is not a good idea for a sell setup. As a matter of fact, this looks like a flat most likely that is trying to go back up, but this also could be a flat for one more up. So just leave it, wait for a proper sell setup. If we get it, we'll take it. It could, I think this could go up one more, break the top. There's a good chance this is going to, first move is going to be to the upside. We ignore the buy. Because once it breaks that top, it can reverse. The depth of this pullback is important. So what we're going to do is we're going to just wait for a sell setup. Aussie yen. Okay, put it like this and wait for it to go one more up. Look for a buy setup here. Short term. Aussie Swiss. A little more down maybe. Not necessarily it has to go down a lot more, but it could go down a little more. I think there was a flat here already. There was a flat before it broke the low. So if you get a buy setup here, take it. Because we broke the low already. So this could be the reversal. Take this out. And this was all the correction. This here was all the correction. We never broke the top there. So take this off. But this is coming down more like a running flat than if that's the case. Because this sharp one, we could put it like this. You could put it like this and assume that that was the flat. Right, with an expanding flat in the middle. That makes sense. There was a smaller flat here. We drop. If you get a flag here, go for it. If you get a flag here, go for the buy. Put a buy setup. Aussie CAD. Okay, this definitely looks like it's going to go one more down. Right, because there's a flag forming here. I think this piece needs to be with something else because we didn't break that up. So we'll have to put this whole piece with something else. This would be the top of the structure, maybe a contracting flat in here. Okay, this is the top. That's a deep pullback drop here. And wait for a sell setup. Let's see in the bigger picture where it should go. Yeah, wait for a sell setup. Could this all be one big correction? It's possible. We'll keep an eye on that. That's possible. Just wait for a flag before we sell. Wait for a sell setup. Let's see. If we don't get the sell setup, if it goes up higher, you can buy it as it stands right now. This is not a buy setup, right? So we just wait for the sell. And if it goes higher, we'll ignore it. Buy the other ones. You have Aussie Swiss and Aussie yen, buy better buy. Aussie New Zealand. Sell setup. I don't know if this wick is real. Will or not look for sell setup. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, so we still have more downside to go. It's trying to come here, so there's a sell setup here. You can put an entry order. That's an active sell. Go back to the 15 minutes. Yep, you can put an entry order here for an active sell. Expanding flat, running flat, whatever we're going with that is a sell. That's a sell. New Zealand yen. Oh, this came back all the way to the bottom. It probably will go back, but it might be part of this bigger correction. I could be part of a bigger correction here. There's a buy setup to go with. Look for a buy setup, take the trade. New Zealand CAD. Okay, this dropped. That's an expected drop. It's at the bottom here. Should we look for more sell? Yep, go for more sell setup. We're coming back to break 1, 2, 3. Any flag here, sell. Sell setup. It could even be an active sell. Let's see the 15. Not enough. It's too small. It could be an expanding flat, but it's way too small. Put an entry. If they correct more, it wouldn't tag you, right? If this makes more correction, it wouldn't tag you. So let's see if it makes more correction. We'll just see if we get buy setup. If not, we'll just ignore it and then go for the sell. If it starts dropping now, we'll go with it with a running flat like this. So it's a sell setup. Active sell. CAD. Okay, so this was the buy to break the top. It broke the top. This could be a sell. It's making a flag here. Okay, we have a problem. This thing needs to go up one more. We're assuming that this will go up one more. Let's see. Yeah, it all depends on where you put the flag for this one, but most likely it looks like one more up. If this is the flat for downside, if this is just a 1, 2, 3 for downside, which is possible, especially with this. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna track this one. If it comes back to the top here, wait for a down move and then buy it. If it stay where it is and drop, wait for a flag here and then sell it. Don't sell this. Wait for a flag and sell a small flag. All right, because this could still be a 1, 2, 3 flat, and you might get a disadvantage there. Or leave it alone. Cat Swiss, sell setup. It went up as expected. Take this off. We expected this move, and we got it there already. So you're looking for a sell setup here now. Take this out. The move down now should be equivalent of this. Look for the sell setup. Let's see if we have a sell setup here. You could make an argument 1, 2, 3. There was a smaller flat here, and this side has a 1, 2, 3. It could probably go up some more. Put an entry under the low. Go for the trade. If you get it higher, better, but take the low. Swiss yen. Okay, you got this. It broke the top. It's coming down back. We didn't break this top, so we're still in this. Whatever that is, we're still in this one. Right? So this sell is irrelevant because it's gonna come down, but that's a bigger flat for upside. Right? So we let it come down. We let this come down. Let it come down here and then look for the buy setup. Okay, this drop without getting all the way to the top. Let's see what we have here. It's still in that consolidation, so it's just dropping like this, basically. Right, it just made that, so it's still upside. I don't see the downside. We haven't got this as yet. So although you have a correction here, it dropped, it made this 1, 2, 3. You can make an argument for a flat like this. That's a huge expanding flat if you go with that. If not, this will probably correct up and drop and correct up and then drop. So it's a buy setup. If you get a correction here for buy, you go for the buy. I think it's more of a buy setup. We need to retest this stop before it drops. So look for a buy setup. Okay, for the YouTube viewers, we've actually completed everything. Although I was supposed to only do the majors, so you got everything there. I would stop the recording here for you. If you want the rest of this, please send me a message and you'll get access to all of that, right? I hope you enjoyed it. We do everything in our room. We'll stop the recording here. We'll continue the recording in the London session. So I would click stop recording. You have a good week ahead of you, and send me a message if you want to have access twice a day viewing these live sessions and taking trade with us and managing it. Send me a message.